geeks, do you love comics, collectibles, and TCG? Well, here at Cardboard Cave, we have the place for you. Pass by Kapitan Granuja Comics and Games and find all your favorite geeky items there. Look for them at Facebook or Instagram or call them at 787-659-7003. A store blessed by Nicole Bolas. Hey, do you like Magic the Gathering? Myself as well loves Magic the Gathering. Well, I have the podcast for you. How about you join us at Cardboard Cave MTG Podcast? We are in all social media and audio platforms that you can enjoy. You can join us as well when we go live every Wednesday at 9. Like that, you can join us, comment below, and we can go ahead and have that conversation together. Plus, after that, we have Commander games and arena content coming your way. So if you love Magic the Gathering as well as we do, just go ahead, look us up as Cardboard Cave Podcast. Hey, welcome everybody. Good night, and I hope that you guys are here to have a great, amazing time with us here at the Cardboard Cave podcast. And as well, remember, if you're new to the podcast, just go ahead, follow us at your favorite audio platform, and as well, follow us on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find us as Cardboard Cave Podcast or Cardboard Cave MTG. Either one of those in your search engine can go ahead and find us right there. You just have to look for that logo that it's right there in the corner, and that is completely us. So guys, we are here back again for a new episode today. If you see that title, we are going to be talking about a lot about Wizard of the Coast, what's going on, and as well giving our opinion on this past year and what might happen this year as well. And if you have your questions or you want to give your piece of the pie of your opinion, just go ahead and join us at the comments so that you guys can have your comment highlighted and we can go ahead and answer your question or just add to our conversation. And as well, if you want to, we might go ahead and one day, how about this? If you guys want to be part of one of our episodes, just go ahead, comment below, and we can go ahead and see if we can invite you to our next episode. So let's go ahead and let's present our host of all episodes. Here we go, the master of the dark arts, the one and only JP.
Sorry for the black screen. I'm not feeling well, so
Don't worry about it, man. I
rebuilt Oyara, so I truly have a mono black deck again.
Awesome. So that's what I was going to talk to you guys like at the end of this show. But I tweaked on Shorikai's commanders, so I do have a new commander's vehicles. I want to build that Megazord, so I'm still building it. I'm missing a couple of like mana base lands and a couple of cards that I want to add in, like that it can be a little bit much more better. But that will be probably our next commander night. And I think that our other host, probably he's there, but at the same time he's not there because he just wants to get a big old plate of Krenko O's, your tasty cereal made by Krenko himself. That should be a shirt. God dang it.
Krenko O's.
Krenko O's.
Hello. Actually, no, I'm not eating cereal tonight, even though I thought about it. But I saw some rice and some corned beef in the fridge, and I was like, hell yeah. So that's what we doing. Like, there is no snacks. I said snack, but I just went for full-on dinner.
Okay. So guys, let's go ahead and just go to the first quick bit of the night. So if you guys joined us last week, me and Orengo, we were talking about the Street Fighter Secret Lair, that it's actually a big drop because they presented not only the Secret Lair drop for Street Fighter, they presented a lot of other drops as well, like the Chibi Commanders, neon type cards or theme, Kaito theme cards. We have Japanese hideaway lands. We have synthwave basic lands, because why not? Wizard of the Coast giving us basic lands again because we need them. I don't know why. And paying $50 a pot for letting them being foiled, then it is what it is. And as well, the what a lot of people were anticipating is the Street Fighter secret layer. That are, if I'm not mistaken, I think there were 8 new black border cards with Street Fighter theme, and as well, each card has like different abilities, and some of them, me and Orengo were like putting them like a power level wise, and some of them might be stupid broken. But hey, it is what it is. So let me go ahead and show you guys the card that was then presented to us the next day. That is Hadouken. It's a lightning bolt. Hadouken deals 3 damage to any target. So apparently, this card will be that special card that comes behind the secret layer. Normally, if you guys know, when you buy a secret layer, you have your little pack of cards, and then at the end you'll have that special card. So in The Walking Dead, it was Lucille. In Stranger Things, I think it was, what was it in Stranger Things? I think it was a land that I don't remember what it does, but it was a land. And then now in Street Fighter, you get Hadouken. It's a replacement card for Lightning Bolt. So this is good because at least this is a card that you can go ahead, and if you have a burn deck, swap them all for Hadouken. Probably they will go for a pretty penny because normally these cards do come foil. I think if you buy the non-foil version, it'll come non-foil. So I still don't know if they're already in the third party market. I don't know if they're already selling these in TCG Player, but if you get lucky, just go ahead and grab your Street Fighter secret layer drop. So before we continue with our roasting, technically speaking, Wizard of the Coast. So JP and Chris, what do you guys think about this drop? And if you like the special card that is going to be available when you buy the Street Fighter drop.
I like this card. I seeing Hadouken. See, it's the same. It's the Godzilla treatment of the cards, which is what we usually would prefer. And by the way, for our listeners, if you don't understand, back in Ikoria, Lair of Monsters, was when we first saw this type of effect, like a card that said like Godzilla, but under it was an actual other card. So in this case, this being Hadouken and actually being Lightning Bolt, I feel like this is the way you should be doing the cards, not the like original card exclusive, kind of like the other Street Fighter cards. I don't particularly like that concept, but it's here, and apparently it's here to stay. They've learned from their mistake with Rick, and even though 11 was pretty damn strong as well from the Stranger Things ones, I feel like in general the whole secret lair thing for this one at least is decent. What knocks it down a lot for me is more basic lands. I hate that. There's like so many basic lands.
Yeah, we have the because we have the synth wave drop that brings all the basic lands with the little synth wave style. Um, that's going to be one of the drops of this drop series. So, eh, it's okay. It's another
Pretty on. I'm
couple
not gonna
lands.
lie. Like again, I don't think I can stress enough how many times we've like bashed wizards for printing out these secret layers that are just basic lands. But man, the synthwave ones just got to me. I thought about it. Like I was just like holding my card in my hand, going, I know I want the lands, but no, I don't want to support this shit behavior.
Are you sure you were motivated with those synthwave lens? They look
I
like a
really
background that
liked
you
them,
can find
dude.
on the internet.
They're literally my. That's literally my background in my desktop. And that they like got to me, my dude.
Mecha Geek says, "Hola, caballero. Hi, gentlemen. Hey, Mecha
Hello,
Geek."
Mecha Geek.
Yeah, but come on, dude. You just if you go look at those pictures again, those lands don't look like sophisticated. They just literally probably Googled synthwave and plastered it in the cardboard and said, okay, for each land, we're gonna make a different color because that's literally it. It's not like
Yeah,
they got an artist and they were like making something new out of it.
I agree, but my problem is that I like them so much. Like honestly, if I had a second option of just having like uh an artist on Etsy make these for me for and like for a lower cost than what Wizards is selling them at, I would definitely do it. But then again, I don't think it's right to ask an artist for a lower price considering that at the price that Wizards is selling these at. It's freaking ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
Like if I'm
I
gonna pay
think
that amount of money, I much actually like continuing on that point. If I'm gonna pay that amount of money, I rather pay an artist to do something like this for me, even if I have to pay even more money than
mhm.
paying Wizards for doing this. Considering that, man, these could have been like. Don't get me wrong, I love the new full art basics that we have in the current like Kamigawa set. However, the synthwave lands would have me like just would have gone more on theme with with the aesthetic of the set. I
Okay.
probably would have liked it the other way around, even though I do admit that the ones that we have as basic lands right now in the Kamigawa set do look better. Like they do. They're
Mhm.
just the superior art, in my opinion. But yeah, and just to like just go over the other points about this secret layer drop. You know, even though like I mentioned, the synthwave thing kind of got to me. Um, I'm still not happy with the fact that we're getting another basic land secret layer drop. And I noticed something very peculiar, and I don't like someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's supposed to be one of the drops that brings a bunch of non-basic lands.
Yeah,
Like it brings Boseiju and everything.
it brings
I
the
noticed it brings four.
original hideaway the hideaway lands put in Japanese.
No, I don't think we're talking about the same one. There's one that brings like Boseiju and all the lands in the set. Then they put like a random colorless land. Like it brings three and then a random colorless land. It brings four instead of like all five in the set.
Let me see. Probably they already have the drop announced. Let's
We double
go
check because
ahead.
I know I saw the drop not too long ago. You got a link to that drop real quick?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now.
Right.
Give me 1 second. Copy. Right, sent it.
Yeah, they got the Street Fighter one over here.
Okay, because okay, full foil bundle.
Man, $40 for those lands. That's just terrible.
Because the only
Terrible,
ones
terrible.
that there are here is the picture of floating worlds that are
Yeah.
the um the hideaway lands, and then there's the astrology lands. Right now it's only Aquarius and Capricorn are the only ones that are available,
Yeah. I was
and
just
then the
wondering.
synth wave ones.
Could have sworn.
I kind of remember what Chris is mentioning. I just
Yeah, yeah. I know I saw them in the pictures for a drop like recently. I didn't see it on the secret layer page. It was like the one of the pages that was like just announcing what the drops were.
Because I
It's
know
so
that there's
weird.
the neon one that brings uh the neon one has Hall of Bandit Lord. It's a legendary land
yeah, yeah, I want one. I want
that
one so
Wait,
enters
where
the
bad.
is that in?
battlefield. Pat
Hollow the
enters.
Bandit Lord.
No, no, no.
Yes.
Like I know the card, but I don't know is like the like which drop was that?
That's the neon one, the neon
Oh,
ink.
Showcase, Neon Dynasty, Neon Inkfoot. Wow, that's a long ass name for. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
there's
get it.
two lands there.
Yeah,
There's
Ghostly Prison.
Hall of
Some. Yeah,
Bandits,
yeah. There we go.
and then Boseiju, who shelters all.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly the one.
Yeah, well, this one only brings four cards. Probably
Yeah,
they have not mentioned the again this drop probably will bring a neon ink special card at the end.
yeah. That also just kind of like tells you that Wizards knew what they were doing when they printed out that Boseiju. Like they knew that it was going to be a high demand card and that people would like love it.
I mean, I want the Hall of the Bandit Lord.
Oh yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. That thing's great too. But like they're printing Boseiju in this one, and I haven't seen any of the other lands and any of the other like drops. So like they knew what was up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, I never feel like it's right every time we get a secret layer drop and like one of these secret layers just brings like less cards than the rest. Like I don't know, it just feels kind of bad. Like I just wish we kept that number a bit more consistent, you know?
Oh,
Like for
now
example, yeah,
I
go ahead.
understand Mega Geek's comment right now. He's like, John, aren't you afraid that Jason comes out because you look like you're in like in a cabin because I have the wood background. And then we have Jakanoff in on Twitch, but Sage is pretty good. That's what he said.
Yeah,
Yes. The Sage is freaking excellent. But yeah, we also got like the special guest Yuku Shimuzu. Same issue. Same issue. Four cards. Why Wizards? Like I just kind of like when everything is a bit more consistent.
I don't know,
And on
man.
top of that, like for example, the Street Fighter drop, like it's pretty huge. It's how many cards? It's 8 cards.
8 cards.
And
Well,
I
it would
kind of
be
and I kind
nine
of
because you're including the Hadouken.
right. So I kind of get that because it's more of a, like a specialty thing. You know, it's like a specific thing, right? But with all the rest, why put in 4 cards and then basically just charge the same thing? Actually,
no, actually, no. They're
yeah,
charging
they
more.
cost more. They're charging more for technically less product.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And then the Nofs goes ahead and says the Chun-Li card is pretty funny. No, the Chun-Li card is
All,
broken. That's what it is.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, fun. I think that was funny. Like, it's pretty funny. Yeah, funny, right? Funny how broken it is.
Exactly.
Heck yeah, dude. I love
Last
that card.
episode, if you guys are if you guys are listening to us today, the previous episode is already linked in the bio, on the top if you're on Facebook, or as well you can just go to our YouTube channel, and right there you can see the previous episode. Me and Orengo do talk about what cards you can use to literally abuse the Chun-Li and actually Guile. We found a way to abuse Guile as well.
Now, I actually didn't watch that episode. Was busy that night, but wow, I
Yeah,
gotta check out that
that
Guile.
episode was really fun. That episode was really fun. So Chris, JP, any last words on talking about the secret layer drop and any other comments that you guys want to give?
Not really. I again, I appreciate the Hadouken style, but I don't like the original card style, as always. And that I want that Hall of the Bandit Lord.
And don't worry about it. Normally, those cards in of Secret Layer, if you guys didn't get the opportunity to get the Secret Layer drop, you guys will see these cards on the third party market. So you guys can go to TCG Player, Channel Fireball, or Card Kingdom. Like that, you can just check out your products, your singles, if you guys are interested in any of these cards. So let's go ahead. This picture was sent by our friend JP. He sent us this through our chat. Go ahead and pop it out there. Boop. So somebody opened a back foiled card from a collector booster. Is this common occurrence? This is really interesting.
uh, Mostly looking through the comments on that,
Hmm.
they're basically saying how it's not common. It's actually the first time a lot of people have seen that, and the moderator on that subreddit directed him to the misprints
Yeah.
Facebook group. So we might sell that for a pretty penny.
Oh yes, for a very example of all of anyone that's listening or watching us, um, if you guys do get any miscuts, any uncentered cards or cards that that have the little hollow sticker on another side or another section, don't don't throw it away. Just go ahead. There are groups in Facebook that dedicate themselves to collecting these cards. And not only that, sometimes a $1 or 15-cent card can become a $50 profit for your wallet because these cards, people do collect them because it's rare to see this. But we're gonna get into that in a second because we're gonna get into the nitty gritty about all of this situation going
Could be
on.
rare.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop off. I hope that I pop off the correct the first one because I didn't move the pictures around. Let me see if I can just make a. Hey, my wallpaper disappeared. What? That's odd. Okay.
That would happen to me sometimes when I was using Wallpaper Engine on my PC. I'll have like the moving background in the back, and sometimes just be like, nope, nope, your
Oh,
background no
my
longer
mine
moves.
was only Chandra. That's the odd part.
Hmm,
Yeah,
kind of weird.
my whole wallpaper is like black. Okay, no, that's not the first one. I'm looking for the first tweet of Cedric Phillips.
So that's a fun one to talk about. But yeah, while you look for that tweet, one of the things
Found it.
that I think is really cool about like misprints is that a lot of times you feel like you have a unique card on your hands. It is a little sad that as of late, Wizards has been getting a lot of
Hmm.
misprints in their product, man. So I kind of, it kind of feels bad because I feel like those misprints don't feel as special. Because
Nah,
I've
dude.
very often gotten a bunch of misprinted boosters. Like you saw, like I got a whole booster from Dominaria, which was quite a bit ago. That was like double printed on itself.
Yeah.
There was like a whole booster I got that way, and I had like that was probably like one of my first misprints.
Well,
Uh, but as of
recently,
late, I've gotten a bunch of like off-centered cards and stuff like that in my boosters. I don't know if I've just had bad luck, but or
well,
good luck depends on how you look at it.
recently myself, I bought a Commander Legends booster box, and my wife usually is the one that she opens the pack. She looks at the cards because she likes looking at the art, and then I sort them out and put the rares on sleeves. She pulled 9 miscuts in the booster box. It was ridiculous. Even a Jesky's Will was miscut, and then it was really funny because in total value of all the cards, there were like only $40, and we put all the cards in auction in one of these miscuts and misprints groups, and it was a $160 profit. So in miscuts, I made the whole box. So I paid the box and had extra, and we still
That's
have
insane.
one. There's still one card that didn't got to be sold, so that one I'll be posting it later on. So
That's
so
insane.
there is how do you say, there is people that
There's a
like,
market, yeah.
yeah, there is a market for these cards, and people like them, because it's like when you find a quarter that has two faces, or a dollar that is printed incorrectly, or it has a different tone of color. So it's the same thing. And then, okay, let's go ahead. Jack says, I saw someone on the MTG subreddit to get a foil back card from the most recent set. Oh, so he did
Yeah,
see
that's
somebody.
actually
Okay.
no.
Yeah, that's
I think that's exactly what we were talking about. No.
yeah. And then he says, are they collectible, or was someone playing a Miska tribal deck?
Oh,
They are
nice.
highly collectible.
They're highly collectible.
Hmm.
Like
That'd
in
be
a,
kind
in
of
a,
fun. A miscut tribal deck.
yeah.
All the cards in your deck are just a bunch of like miscuts. Ooh, I like
Oh
that.
yeah, that would
I'm
be
gonna
cool. That would
gonna
be cool.
start
I
investing.
actually I actually told my wife when in the booster box there were like 5 booster packs left. I was like, if you pull a miscut jewel Lotus, I'm gonna cry. I'm
You just
gonna
give it to
cry.
me. You just give it to me. It'll be fine.
Oh my
I'll
god.
have good
Oh
use
man.
for it.
I think everybody that plays Commander would have a good use for
Yeah.
it.
But I have a
We can make it. We can make a giveaway once we reach a certain amount of followers. If we ever get our hands on something like that.
Exactly. That would be good. That would be great. Okay, so let's go ahead. If you guys know, Cedric Phillips is a big influencer or content creator in the Magic the Gathering community. We've seen him not only in big Magic the Gathering events, we've seen him as well commentating in Star City game events. Um, I don't know if he is awfully seen in like other YouTube channels like Tolarian Community or Command Zone, in between others, other because the community is growing so big that there's more YouTube channels to consume Magic the Gathering content. Like, hey, we're here, so we're part of that community as well. So this was sent by our friend JP, because JP is like our, I would call him our gossip person in the MTG community. That's
He's
what
our
we would call.
press.
He's our press. So Cedric Phillips goes ahead and says the following. Let me go ahead and post it here. Boop.
I'll,
If
I'll
you
read
want
it.
to go ahead,
Yeah.
JP, go ahead.
Um,
Let me change the setup
okay,
like they can read the
there was like
photo.
a hashtag and a lot of people talking about this just with this thing in general. And it was like, are you confused by the whole free the wizards thing today? Cool, you're probably not alone. To the best of my ability, here's what happens and here's what it means. AltaFox AF is an asset management firm and is a significant shareholder of Hasbro, roughly 2.5% per my understanding. Because they're a significant shareholder in the company, they have the ability to ask and or demand a conversation of this nature. Next page, please.
Okay, let me go ahead because the new this new photos thing in
Oh,
does it continue here?
I'm not sure. I haven't. Let me just read it from the page where I sent it to you.
Yeah,
It'll be a
sure, no
lot
problem.
easier.
It said because I don't know why it went haywire here, so I'm gonna try and
Okay.
see if I
AF
can.
contends that the current board Hasbro shares have considerably underperformed and have traded at a sizable count despite massive growth by their key brand, WOTC, also known as Wizard of the Coast, over the past 5 years. As investors, it seems they would have a good feel for that. AF contends that this underperformance is due to the board's poor capital allocation, investor disclosure, and communication. We as a community know that WotC isn't the best at communication, so it's not that far fetched that Hasbro, its parent company, would be poor there as well. AF contends that Hasbro's peers, Mattel being the most significant, show much more focus on shareholder returns, both in their communication with investors, like AF, and underlying compensation structures, how much key people are being paid for their work. Basically, this means that Hasbro communicates with their shareholders poorly, and that Hasbro's key people are getting paid a ton in comparison to the key people in similar positions in companies in the same space, such as Mattel, even though Hasbro stock is performing worse. AF also notes that the current board members haven't purchased any shares of Hasbro over the past decade. That's notable because if Hasbro is doing as well as it appears, its board would want to invest its money there. It will be presumably continue to grow. With continued growth, that means your investment in Hasbro also grows, making it more valuable so that if when it comes to time to sell, you profit. Instead, AF is seeing the direct opposite take place. The board isn't buying, which, if you're in AF's position, raises concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Let me see. I think then AF is selected. So, wait, I think I missed the thing right here. Okay, here we go. If they are offering to be AF is offering to be elected to board, and they have ideas to generate value. You can see their page in freethewizards.com. They have a bunch of ideas right there. Then they list their nominees to represent AF on the board, with this John Finkel being the most significant, or for fairly obvious reasons. Lastly, AF then provides examples of Hasbro WOTC doing poor job managing Magic as an asset, waning support of the competitive Magic, problems with Arena as a product, the development of Alchemy as a format, before asking players for their own thoughts and feedback. I won't be providing any of my own opinions on any of this, so he won't be hasty and likely be misinformed. This is just what he has was seen in his summary in general. Also, because people ask the question, yes, 2.5% is a sizable stake in a company as big as Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
So what AFS was saying is they're that Hasbro has been growing, or at least the way they've been showing is that they've been growing, but the main shareholders haven't been buying stock, and they're getting paid more than other shareholders of other different companies on the same position. So it doesn't make sense, and they're not being. And Hasbro and WotC aren't being forthcoming about those things towards their shareholders. AF is also saying like, "Hey, this is a problem. We are seeing these things that are concerns to the community, and we feel like they are concerns to us as a company and as shareholders, because they mentioned the waning effect of Magic's competitive environment, which is something that WotC has been recently doing. How basically they eliminated any and all basically events on of competitive Magic. Their mismanagement of Arena, which we've already talked about this in previous podcasts, how something as simple as Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels has just done so much better as a product. Uh, and then the creation of Alchemy as a format, which affected a lot of players, and they basically just threw it out there without
Mm-hmm.
having player feedback and community feedback. They just threw it out before anyone could actually say something. Because by the time people said something, the thing was already in development and ready to come out in the like the past month. So
Exactly.
AF is basically saying, "Hey, mira, let us take control of that area and deal with this, because this is actually a problem." And I feel like we've been saying this for a long time. How they're like I continue to say when we were discussing this between us. Um, they're seeing the negative impact of their current structure for the long term.
Yep.
Like we have been saying this time and time again, but the current amount of overwhelming product WOTC has been dishing out, and the way they've been handling the game as of more recently years, is unsustainable for a consumer base. It has made standard more accessible than it has been in years, because all these reprints, all these different art has lowered the price on the base of the game. But in contrast, you've gotten something of power creep, issues with insignificant reprints and unhealthy formats, and many more things, such as the removal of what basically is competitive Magic, and the outdated online client alongside just a generally bad online client, because MTGO is still there, and it's outdated. It just is, and even if it got a graphical update recently, it's still pretty outdated. And the generally bad online client is Arena, because Arena is unsustainable for the common player. So and also, it feels like they understand, like Hasbro understands that what they've been doing is unsustainable, but I guess they just don't care. I don't understand why. Because if you're not buying stock like your own stock, and your stock is actually worse, but the company is growing, makes no sense. So you know the company is growing and the company is doing better because you're doing an unsustainable practice. So in the short term, you're gaining a lot of profit, but in the long term, again, it's unsustainable. So there's no point in buying stock if you're getting a lot of a profit immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything will just burn out. It's like everything will just burn out in fatigue. What I enjoy about what AF is saying is like, hey, we understand this is unsustainable. We need to fix this, and they need to either see what they're doing and try to fix it in somehow, or double down. If they double down, then it's going to be worse, but at least it's going at a direction you can see. I'm not sure if I made myself clear with that one, but that's what I feel like. It's like either change their shit, and see how they can fix their own thing. And these
Mm-hmm.
changes aren't immediate. Like if I'm mistaken, it'll take at least a year to 2 years for things to even be starting to be affected. Some effects could be like immediate, almost immediate, but a lot of other things are slow, especially with the way they're handling standard. But if they double down, at least it's like you'll see what is sustainable and what is not. As such, Commander is just sustainable. It's the healthiest format right now.
Yeah, I I completely agree with you, because the thing is that having it's like again, if you guys are watching us, if you go like through our backlog of episodes that are available in audio and in visual, well, not all of our visual podcasts are available because of a mix up we had with our YouTube channel, but at least in audio, all of it is there. But if you go way back, we do talk about this countless of times. So much product is coming out, one thing through the other. Like recently, we got Crimson Vow was out, and then Midnight, and then the double feature was out, and then from double feature we had the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty was being spoiled and then announced at the same time. It's like it's too much product. Like you're not giving the consumers, the people that just buy booster boxes for fun, or for, like, again, the content creating community is growing by the second. There's somebody new at YouTube or at Twitch or at TikTok. making Magic the Gathering content, and sometimes they do it because they're like, oh, if we reach 300 followers, I'll give away this booster pack or something like that. Um, and the sad part about this is that so much product is coming in, but you're not giving us a chance to actually like sit down and be like, okay, so from here in 3 months or 4 months, the new set is coming out. So nothing else is going to come out from that range of time. So that's fine. I can save up money to buy a case or to buy at least a couple of collector booster boxes. Because thanks to the whole MSRP issue, we all talked about it, and we've mentioned that some, I'm not saying all of them, but some distributors are selling their product more expensive to win an extra buck. And then what does that affect? That affect us. Maybe this is me putting as a LGS store. Maybe the distributor at first, when there was MSRP, I would buy. Let's put it in a case of standard of draft booster boxes. Let's say a case. I think a case brings 12 boxes, if I'm not mistaken. So 12 boxes,
Is that a
and
case 6 boxes?
I don't remember. I don't know how much the case brings.
I'm
At
almost
least a
sure it's
draft,
6.
because I
Yeah.
know that
Oh,
collector booster
draft.
boxes, draft collector booster boxes is 6 or 8. No, my bad. Collector booster boxes is 8.
What?
Yeah, like because you have the display box and then you have a case.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
display box is like a box with, I think it brings 4 or 6 cases. So it's just me bringing random numbers
Mm.
just to give our listeners or viewers an idea. So let's say that before uh, a draft booster box brings me 12 booster boxes. That's my case. And it would cost me around probably, let's say, 750 with the distributor, and then I could sell them for what some stores sell them, that they go ahead and sell them for 110. And what they some stores, what they do is like, hey, it's 110, it already includes taxes, because it's much more easier and quicker to sell. Because what they do is that, oh, okay, so the case, let's say random math, the booster box might cost you 95 plus the taxes, it'll get to 110. Just putting an example. Like that, the boxes can leave much more quicker. And I can then, what does that happen? I sell the product faster, I get more cases in my store or more product in my store. So that's
Mhm.
like the circle. But now with this whole MSRP issue, maybe the distributors are not selling that case for 700 and they're selling it for 900 or 750 or 850. It's much more expensive. So that means that the LGS store, some stores will go ahead and say, hey, I'm sorry, but I had to bump up the price to 120, like that I can make a little bit of profit. And then you'll see that crippling going up, because then what usually your draft booster box is 110, it'll be 120. When your set booster box is supposed to be 120 is 140. And then you have your collector booster box that instead of being 200 or 180 is 240
Mhm.
or 250. So this affects the not only the company, it affects the LGS store, because they won't be buying in big numbers,
Yeah.
you know. And again, one of the most key important things, if you worry about the gathering, because it's not called magic, it's called Magic the Gathering. If your most important thing is the gathering, you don't have events no more. There's no Friday night magic. There's no tournaments that say, oh, I'm the champion, or
Mhm.
incentives that's like a playmat or a card or something that gives the players that hype to play.
Yeah.
And it's effective, because not only that, I'm going to give you an example of myself. I own my own TCG player store, online full. I can't find a distributor because in the agreement for Wizard of the Coast, I need to have a store because of the gathering. That stops me being able to buy cases for my online, people that buy my product online,
Hmm.
just because the gathering. But how can you put in an agreement that you want the gathering but you don't have things to people join in?
You don't back it up. You don't
You don't
support the
back it up.
gathering.
Exactly, and that's the interesting thing, because a couple of years ago we had events for D&D, because if you played D&D in your local game store, they would give you perks, or they would give you a figure, or they would give you something back for playing that amazing
Exactly.
adventure or something with your DM. They would do the same thing with Magic the Gathering. You could have gotten a promo card, or you could have, now with with the what I hate most, the little booster packs that they can give you something good, or maybe not. Um, but there's not that anymore. And then arena sucks. Sorry, uh, arena's not sustainable right now. Even though if you invest on the pre-order of Kamigawa, those 50 booster packs for $50. I mean, no, not 50 booster packs. You get a booster box and a couple of more packs for $50.
Depends on the bundle you got too,
Exactly.
because there's a whole
Um,
$50 bundle which just brings you like
there's two.
the yeah,
There's
but there's
two
like
bundles. One
yeah,
that
but
brings
there's the
you
other one that brings like
tokens,
the tokens. Yeah,
and then there's the one that brings you the booster packs. But then this is the issue. Even though you get those booster packs, that does not give you the chance to have a standard deck. So, and then let's not go ahead with all these issues of product. Let's talk about the previous commanders. One of them is not playable out of the box.
I mean, it's playable.
It's
It's just
playable,
not
yeah. You can
good.
switch
oh no, but
the
you got to switch out the land
the
though,
Oh
land.
wait, right, yeah.
so it
You have to
actually
switch out
isn't
the land.
playable out of the box.
And then it's not only that. And this is gonna be my final point, like that Chris can give his cup of tea. Not only that, commander products, this one especially, the value is not there. Like if you're a commander player like all of us, us three here, or anybody that listening to us, you want to buy this commander because you want to build it. For example, I'm building right now Shorty Guy, Genesis engine, and then probably somebody is building the Gruul one because they want to do an Aura equipment shenanigans. You buy those commanders, but there's no value in it.
Correct.
You waste $40 or 50 depending your LGS store, and you're only getting exactly the same amount of money back.
Hmm.
When you go back to the Crimson Vow commanders and the Kaldheim commanders and the Midnight Hunt commanders, Prof, and this is me quoting Prof, all of those commanders go over the $70 value in singles, and that's only talking about TCG lowest pricing.
Yeah.
You know, so WOTC, I don't know what you guys are doing, but you guys have to get your stuff, your shit straight, because this is not affecting only your company. This is affecting us, the players. But again, this is only affecting players, mostly the players that play like the formats that are tournament based, like Modern, Standard, Pioneer, and probably any other historic if it comes to paper, Popper. These formats that require certain specific cards. But if you are a commander player, you don't have that issue because you just build up a $10 budget commander and have fun with your friends.
Yeah.
You know, so
Sustainability.
exactly, you know, Because look at all of us. If you guys have seen our previous commander nights, each one of us have at least more than 4 commanders, and we enjoy building them, changing them up, or making a different build. And if you guys consume commander content in YouTube, you see that everybody has different commanders, different styles, and people enjoy it.
Yep.
So I don't know. Wizard of the Coast did whoever AF is, just do your thing. So Chris, what's your cup of tea?
Man, honestly, I feel like you both covered all the points that I would have talked about pretty well. Like one of my like main concerns from all of this was exactly that, the sustainability of what WOTC is doing, and also as like to quote you, Wizards
I'm
just
still
not
here.
paying, just not paying the same attention to, you know, the gathering aspect of Magic the Gathering. It's something that we've talked about a lot when you go back on like previous episodes, and for good reason. You know, we were all excited to, you know, once this whole COVID thing kind of cleared up a little bit, to get back to our local game store and start playing games with our friends and start getting back to tournaments and all that good stuff. But there's just no incentive to play. Like, honestly, I don't have much of a reason to. Like, there's two issues, right? And it's that there's no real incentive to play at your LGS, and playing arena, well, honestly, kind of sucks. It's unsustainable. So they're just kind of making the whole point of, like, you know, Magic, which is, you know, gathering around to play it, uh, just not just doesn't give you a reason to do it. Like, a lot of people, like, there's different reasons why people play. Some people play because they just want to have some fun. Other people play because there's, like, you know, they want to go pro and get into like the economic aspect of all this. But again, you can't go pro anymore. You know, if you go pro, you can only do so through arena. And honestly, the investment, the time and money, both of those investments that you have to put into arena are just not sustainable. They're not profitable in any way unless you get some kind of huge sponsorship. And I don't know, it's absolutely insane. That's all I'm saying. Um, I'm also kind of wondering if, like, it's pretty clear that like they've already mentioned that, you know, no one at Hasbro is like buying their own stock. So what my question is, like, what's the plan? You know, like, do they know that their stock is going to crash or something? Like, what's the plan? Because so far, I don't know. Like, how do you even
I don't think
maintain such a huge company with terrible communication?
I don't think that
And
Hasbro has an issue like on their side, because their toys keep selling.
that
You
is
know,
true.
their toys keep selling. Hasbro is very big on toys. So
Yeah.
I'm right now looking at one of them.
Like,
Um,
remember what they said, that their profit margins are rising. Why, if they're rising and there is growth, why aren't you investing then? Why
Exactly.
that's what I
That's the
see.
point. Like, do they know that that what they're doing is unsustainable and therefore aren't buying because they expect a crash, or what's going on here? Like, what is the plan? Like, Hasbro's, what is your plan, my guy?
yeah,
Because I don't know, it just none of it just makes any kind of sense right now.
no, no. Did Wizard of the Coast did that? Did they do that big event that they do like every for every set? Because remember that on for Zendikar, they did like this live stream that they had like themed out things, and they had like different content creators, like percent cards
I
or
didn't see
anything?
any of that. I didn't see any of that. I haven't
Okay.
seen any events. I haven't seen anything like huge like go on in the community right now, which is why I'm really worried about it.
But you know what's the most interesting thing is that didn't the Wizard of the Coast did say a couple of months ago, and we do have a podcast about that. Um,
Hmm.
I think we do have two of them. Uh, about Post Malone. That Post Malone was going to be like this big intricate part
Yeah.
of this year's like incentives for LGS stores and content creators
Hmm.
as well.
Already 2 months in, and we haven't seen
We
anything.
haven't seen anything. Whoa, we did. He is in the new Game Nights episode.
Yeah, I mean that's cool and all. That's great promo. That's fantastic. Like, oh yes, Wizards, great. But where's the incentive for the players to get into it? Because right now, for example, like I've mentioned before, right now in the store, there's been here in Capitan Granuja, there has been an influx of new players. A lot of them are interested in standard. Most of them get into commander because that's what we play at the store. Now, here's the issue. What gets people to stay most of the time is commander, but not everybody likes commander.
Yep.
It's a lesson that I like. It's kind of a lesson that I've learned over time, because every time that like someone gets into Magic, I'm like, Commander, it's where it's at, because it's my favorite format. I freaking love Commander. But for example, I was talking to Melissa the other night. She doesn't like Commander because sometimes she says that the games are too long, and she has like her issues with the game, and that's fine. That's exactly why we have formats, different formats for people to play
Mm-hmm.
in Magic the Gathering. Now the problem is, the only format that there's any real incentive to play realistically is Commander. Why? Because you don't have to worry about rotating cards.
Mm-hmm.
They like since Commander was a format that started without the support of Wizards, it clearly doesn't need the support of Wizards. As long as the community supports it,
Yeah.
it holds up just fine. That this comes in great contrast to both actually modern and standard, because modern, while it doesn't really depend on anything that Wizards of the Coast does on their end, modern is a fairly expensive competitive format. If you don't have a place to play your competitive format, if you don't have any incentive to play at your LGS, why would you even continue playing modern? Just because you love it, maybe, but you're not going to have a
Mm-hmm.
super competitive deck. You're just going to have like the deck you used to play with like your group of friends that play modern, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, same problem with standard. There's a lot of people that I've seen at the store right now in Capitan Granuja that are really interested in playing standard. And honestly, if I had the time and money to do so, I would love to do that too, because standard is genuinely really fun and really interesting, because the fact that you keep all these cards rotating keeps the format, fresh.
Yeah.
Um, but the issue that we're having right now is that people don't have an incentive to play other than maybe getting like a few boosters.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like in previous events where like, oh, well, you get like all these really cool boosters. You also get like really cool promos. If you win like a tournament, you get a mat. If there used to be so much more that Wizards did to incentivize the community to play.
It's like, for example, giving a little perspective to the people that are watching us and or listening to us. Um, Before a plug, remember you guys can follow us all of our social media. We're at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Just hit that follow button or subscribe, that you can get more content from us, and as well listen to us in all of your favorite audio platforms as well. So going back, so for example, around 2022, I'm gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, I think like around 2017, 2018. I don't remember exactly the year, but I remember that there was this one whole year. At, yeah, around that time, I dedicated myself to be a great, good standard player.
Mhm.
I remember I remember because I did sold my commander by that time. There was Scion the Ur Dragon. By that time, it was one of the most expensive ones. um, one of the most expensive ones by that time. So with that store credit, I started my standard journey. I bought my first deck that it was a mono red by that time with Bomad Courier, Earthshaker Kenra, Hazoret, and that deck I didn't have it completed. I was missing some Hazarets. I was missing some cards, and then the people inside the LGS store told me, "Hey, just go to MTG Goldfish, look for the meta, know the decks and everything." And it was fun because why was it fun? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the tournament, you would have an incentive. Let it be by those times it was a special promo card. It could have be by that time it was Fatal Push. I remember because Kaladesh was still one of the popular sets. It was Fatal
Hmm.
Push. So what does that tell you? That tells you as a player, okay, I need to be on the top four. Not top four. I need to be on the top two to get that Fatal Push. So
Hmm.
that whole year, I dedicated myself to only play Magic. So I was, you could ask the guys because that's how I know Chris from longer time, but that's where I met JP, and Orengo, thanks to Magic the Gathering. But I became that hardcore standard player. You know that I would go to ISD Gaming, I would go to Barista, I would go to Granuja, I would go to Algo Más que Juguetes, just to get that incentive, just to get that practice on, because my goal was to go to my first Grand Prix, or by that time GP, and then as well qualify for the nationals. That we don't have that anymore. That's the sad
Yep.
part. We don't have those things anymore. We don't have GPs anymore. I remember like if it was yesterday, before the pandemic, me and our friend Carlos, we were planning to go to a GP
Yes.
in
Was it
Orlando.
Florida or was it? Yeah,
It was in
I
Florida.
remember.
We were planning
And
to
I
go
was
to
trying to make
Florida.
some plans for that too. Yeah.
We were trying to make plans to go to Florida, and then after that GP, we were making plans to go to Japan because we were like, "Hey,
Wow,
there's a
dude.
GP 5 months in Japan." And I told him like how we're gonna do this because you work, I work. He's like, "It's easy. We leave on Friday. The GP is on Saturday. We enjoy the GP and don't sleep that whole Saturday, and we come back Sunday." I'm like, I'm down. I'm down. Uh,
That's a long flight, though. I'm not. I'm like, are you? Could you guys even make that? That's insane.
yeah, actually, we
Wow.
were because the plan was that we would be leaving literally on Thursday, and we would be
Oh, okay,
arriving
that makes more sense.
Friday, and then Friday would be our day to like chill. But you know that hello, it's Japan. Who's gonna chill when you're in
Yeah,
Japan? You know.
yeah.
So I
Who's
think we
gonna
were
chill
gonna
when you're
be
like traveling for the first time anywhere? To be honest, it's like you just go somewhere. You're like,
exactly. So we actually had a lot of GP planning that we wanted to go to different, locations. We had a plan, but then the pandemic started,
yeah,
and all those plans went to
heck.
heck. But having not having a a good incentive to enjoy Magic, because I even remember because when I was working with Capitan Granuja, they still had the one of the champion playmats that I remember. It was one of the horsemen by the time M21 I think was the set uh, that came out. And I told them like, "Hey, why haven't you guys giving this?" And they were like, "Oh, because we forgot that was there." And it makes sense because there's nothing to win out of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to win out of it. You know, I miss. I mean, I have it right here. This is my first champion playmat. because we kept it in house. I don't think you can see it because of the
Yes, I
green
do. I
screen.
do remember though. Yeah, I actually have mine right here too. Like, ah man, those champion playmats over. Wait, did you get this one at ISD or was that at Granuja?
No, that was at Granuja. That's what the time that I was
Yes,
like full team Granuja, and I'm like, no,
I
this is staying in the
remember that
house.
was so fun, man.
I remember because I think we were like by that time we were like only 4 players from Team Granuja,
Yeah,
and I remember that there was a mono red player. Was we 2 mono red players ended up at the finals, me and the other one
yeah,
that day. That day, I remember that day because that day was funny because I think I was down 3 life and he was down like 5 life, and he had the mono red deck that does damage to each other,
yes,
but then he couldn't continue lowering our lives because if he would have gone, he had 5, he does it 3 times, he's at 2, and I can just shock him,
yeah,
and it's a draw. Because if you go with the stack, my ability goes first, blah blah blah, and it was funny because I felt like that meme of the person having all the mathematics in the
yeah.
brain, because I remember that he casted 2 creatures, he attacked, and I only had like 2 creatures to block, and I'm like, okay, so if I do block, I do block, but I don't have creatures. It all depends on what I go on my top deck. I don't remember how was the end game. I know that I did block, and I think I was down 2 life. I was risking for that shock, and when he didn't do nothing, I drew. I think I drew a shock or something, and I just destroyed him. No, I remember that
Nice.
we all partied that night.
Yeah,
Um, but is that thrill? The thrill of having fun with your friends, and the LGS store, how do you call it, rivalry?
yeah.
That
The
was the
thrill,
fun.
just the thrill of having fun as a community, really. Like, because even the people you don't know, like in those Magic tournaments, you got to know new people, you made new connections,
Yeah.
and it was a lot more than just a bunch of nerds getting together to play in a store. It is a lot more than just a bunch of nerds getting to play together in a store because I have made long lasting friendships through Magic the Gathering. I have met people with whom like we've made like different kinds of like business deals involving cards and stuff like that, and or even like connections that have helped me like in my career.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it's people really do underestimate sometimes how important the gathering aspect of Magic the Gathering is, how important it is for you to get together with all these people and almost like religious way, just getting together every Friday, get to playing your games, getting to know all these people better, and in general, just growing as a community,
Mm-hmm.
man. It feels good. It feels
Yeah.
good.
The sad part about all this is that due to what's going on now, that we don't have to call it a pandemic anymore because it's already been what, 2 years,
Oh yeah,
and it's already been 2 years. We're living this now.
actually, like 3 years. No, we started in 2019.
Was it 2019?
Yeah,
Right, 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 right.
it's insane.
So
It's
yeah,
freaking insane, dude.
so but the sad part about all this is that still it's everything is controlled, so you can't fully be with your friends because, let's put an example, our friend Orengo that has his conditions, and we have to protect him. you know it's like what I explained to, I think it was to my mom or to my wife, that I know where my friends are at. I know what they do in their day-to-day basis because we talk during the day.
Hmm.
I know where Chris has been. I know where JP has been, or Orengo has been, or our friend Carlos. So if I do hang out with them, at least I have a knowledge that where they were, and I know
Hmm.
that I can be safe around them.
Hmm.
But it's not the same me going to an LGS store, and even though I do have my mask on, that does not secure me that the person next to me
Hmm.
is been protecting himself.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I'm not gonna mention the store's name, but I went with a friend of mine to an LGS store to see if they were had collector booster boxes because he wanted to be like a silent investor in my store, and he wanted to buy product for my store, and we had an agreement on the earnings. Uh, but then when we went in the store, we noticed that all the tables are not
They're just not following
CDC,
regulation.
is not following regulation. They're all very close. There's too many people in one table, and I told my friend like, hey, let's just go check if they have what we need, and we leave. I don't feel, I don't feel safe. Especially me that I'm expecting a child. So for me, it's like triple the check.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
to be careful. Um, but just having that thrill, because it's like I said to our friend Carlos, uh it's not the same playing Commander or Magic the Gathering virtually
Hmm.
than being on a table with your friends and playing Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah.
Because with a table with friends, there's jokes, there's banter, there is everything. There's probably a pizza next to us because we are all hungry or something like that. um After playing Magic, we can play a board game or something like that, or Dungeons and
Hmm.
Dragons. But this is literally like the gathering is not there anymore.
Hmm.
Unless you have a group of friends that are willing to hang out and play Magic, you have your gathering right there. But is it worth it going to your local game store to go to a Friday night Magic now?
Yeah.
That's the question now.
I feel like that's also one of the things that kind of puts Magic in between a rock and a hard place. I feel like first off, the way that they've managed Arena has been terrible. Uh, they had a good start when they started doing all these like Magic Arena tournaments to get people sponsored and all that stuff, and that was a really good way to. Can you give me 1 second? Actually, hold on. Sorry about that. Give me. I'll be back in just a second.
Okay, no problem. So yeah. So JP, do you have anything else to say while Chris comes back?
No, I completely understand all your perspectives, and like the environment is just it's just different. Everything's just different without you need that human contact.
Yeah, exactly. I know that that if you guys were at the start of the episode, we all were talking about Commander, and I think that we should. It's long overdue. We need to have a new Commander Nights episode out
Yeah.
soon. Bring out those commanders and do crazy shenanigans. I don't know if Chris is back. Like that, Chris can give his point of view, and we can just go ahead and close our argument. Do you have anything else that you want to say, JP?
Uh, well, I remember this thing Chris sent us, and Neon, like Neon Kamigawa Neon Dynasty has been such a hit. And a few years ago, Mark Rosewater was saying that they probably would never go back to Kamigawa because it was a flop of a set. Like
Yeah,
the
I
entire
remember.
block was a flop. But then they came back, and this set has been like over the top, and everything. Everyone's been loving it. In terms of the themes, and in terms of the throwbacks towards original Kamigawa. Someone mentioned, hey, so because of Kamigawa's success, is there a possibility we could go back to a plane that didn't have the amount of popularity at the time, but maybe it could be revitalized, and that would be Rabaya. So Rabaya is the plane of Arabian Nights, and it's a really old plane. It's like really, really old, and Arabian Nights is one of the really, really, really old sets.
Cue
So
cue the Aladdin song.
basically,
Arabian
yeah,
Nights.
it's a Persian Arabian inspired plane, and it would be very interesting to see that unfold. So, in a way, like Kamigawa Neon Dynasty has opened the way for older, unpopular sets or unpopular planes to maybe become popular.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in. Give
Yeah,
me
not just
give
that.
me a genie planeswalker that does crazy stuff for my commander.
Jesus, a Jin Planeswalker. That the implications of a Jin Planeswalker are so scary, dude. Like, nah,
And then
don't
I
want it.
would make a proxy of the Robin Williams genie from Aladdin.
Oof, my heart. Heck yeah, dude.
So yeah,
Um,
I'm in. I'm in. If this gives us a chance to go to planes or sets that were not successful, let's put it that way, and we can go explore those sets, I'm in. Because actually it was really fun when we got to,
go
we
back
got
to
to
Dominaria.
yeah, but remember that we got, I think it was Dominaria. We had those like single sets. There was Dominaria,
Mm,
Ikoria. We went back to Zendikar for a
yes.
while. Um, so I'm really intrigued to this. Right now we're in Kamigawa. We had two sets that were in Innistrad. Well, my bad, three sets. Even though the third one was the same thing, but but
Double
it
feature,
is,
I'm assuming you're referring to, or
yeah, double feature.
yeah.
Double feature is the two sets together with the new different style arts. That is
That
really
it,
cool.
that even count
Um,
as a set? Like we
yeah,
talked
I
about
know.
this, so we talked about well,
Um,
whatever. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna
yeah,
open that. I'm not gonna open that Pandora's box again.
but 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 I would say that yeah, I'm in. Let's go. Let's go to Arabian Nights, and then if that does happen, then we just cue the Aladdin song, and we're in. That's how you do it. I know, Chris, you had something to say before you left. So what we're going to do is that do what say what you need to say. Give your opinion on the whole Arabian Nights thing, and then we'll say our goodbyes to our listeners and viewers.
Right. So now, what I was gonna mention earlier is just that I think that Wizards had a really good start on certain aspects of Arena, like the whole incentivizing Arena play with all those tournaments and stuff. I just haven't seen a lot of that stuff come up again, and even when it hasn't gotten the same amount of promo it did the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
And now that Post Malone is involved in the process, this is like the prime opportunity to incentivize people to play Arena. Like, if you're gonna keep effing up my cardboard, at least exploit your virtual platform, because
Yeah.
again, one of the things that I feel that puts WOTC between kind of like a rock and a hard place right now is the whole pandemic situation. Uh, because again, one of the most important aspects, like we just keep like reiterating on the same point, right? Like one of the most important aspects of Magic the Gathering is the gathering part, and the fact that there's a lot of limitations depending on your country, your state,
Mm-hmm.
around literal gatherings. It does make things a bit more difficult, and for them to incentivize tournament play during this time could kind of portray them as being irresponsible with their player base. So, in that sense, I do understand why not entirely incentivize uh, tournament play. However, if you're not going to incentivize tournament play, there should be at least some kind of incentive for players to keep going to their LGS, because without the LGS, whether it's the little one or the big one, there is no WOTC, there is no Magic the Gathering, and there is no community.
Mm-hmm.
And unless Wizards starts doing something to give support to their community, we're gonna have to start saying goodbye to some of the formats we love because again, if there is no incentive to play any of the other formats other than Commander, why why like why would you go to your LGS to play any of these other formats? The problem is that right now a lot of Commander players have been buying a lot of stuff, but sometimes because of how the way that Wizards has been releasing product lately, a lot of times you're better off buying singles.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. It sucks to think about because I want to give my money to the local store. I want to support my people, you know? But it's difficult because of how WOTC has been handling business. That's kind of the gist of everything I had to say on that one. So about that new set, what's the name of the plane again? I keep forgetting because my brain keeps saying Wrath instead of saying the correct name of the plane. Uh,
Rabaya.
Rabaya. There we go. I'm really excited. I'm definitely super excited to get a theme of a plane that hasn't been touched upon in a very long time, and that we haven't seen anything similar to in recent years. Because we had Amonkhet, but Amonkhet is an Egyptian theme, so it's completely different. Like nothing to do with like Arabian or Persian. A
Mm-hmm.
completely different aesthetic. I'm really excited to know if they're going to do like you know, again, this is probably plans for either next year or maybe even like the year after that, because as we know, with WotC tends to plan these things with more than a year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like wondering like where would we be going with this plan in the sense that is it going to be like Kamigawa, where we kind of like go like to the future, or is it going to be centered on like the history of the plane and stuff like that? So again, I'm super excited about this. I can't wait to see this because I really do enjoy every time WotC does something inspired on another country and something that has a new aesthetic compared to everything else that they've done, at least in recent years. So, and I'm also excited about maybe getting like those like staples and like what's the name? Just like legendary stuff from that plane because
Mm-hmm.
I really like all the legendary stuff because all the legendary stuff, other than being great for Commander, tends to also be like packed with tons of lore and tends to
Yeah.
like tell a huge story. Like every time you look at a planeswalker card or a legendary creature in Magic, there's usually a really cool and important story around that character, and sometimes even in their card art you just kind of especially like on their legendary cards, I feel like WotC artists tend to be like really expressive, and you can just get a lot from the card art alone about that character's personality and on what the situation in that plane may be. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
super excited about all of it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that as well. So guys, I think we are going to go ahead and end our big discussion of WotC and what's really going on. So you guys, if you're listening to us or watching us, there's our cup of tea. I wish Orengo was here because I know that he would have been another perspective as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, for this situation with Wizard of the Coast that we still don't know what's going on, but this at least at least with us you have an idea of what's going on in the perspective of players
Mhm.
because we all played standard or modern or played semi-professional before, so it's a really good take out of all of us. So Chris, where can the people find you?
Well, you will soon be able to find me on my Twitch and hopefully making some more content for this page very soon. You can, as always, find me here in the Cardboard Cave podcast, and it's always a great idea to interact with us on our page. Usually, the ones that are like constantly on that are either John or I. And yeah, so more importantly, hey JP, you still there? Where can they find you, my dude?
I'm still here, still alive. You can find me here in the cardboard cave. How about you, John?
So you guys can find me at Real In Films as well here in the Cardboard Cave podcast. So if we do not settle in playing Commander this Friday, I will be joining all of you here. every I'm not gonna say every Friday, but at least I'm gonna stream at least a Friday yes and a Friday no, some Magic the Gathering content, because I for what we have noticed, you guys do like our content. So let's go ahead and give you guys more content, playing draft or anything in arena. And as well, you guys can see me at the Movie Guy podcast. I do have I will be announcing it tomorrow, not today, that this next Monday, if everything goes well, this next Monday, I will be talking about in my podcast of Up, Up, Left, Right. I will be talking about Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, and probably there will be a special guest. So see me there on next Monday at 8:30 at night. So guys, see you guys in the next one, and we'll keep you all posted. Just check on our social media what's gonna might happen this Friday. So we will see you next week, or maybe this Friday. So we will see you guys in the next one. Here is a small little message of our small LGS store. Hey geeks, do you love comics, collectibles, and TCG? Well, here at Cardboard Cave, we have the place for you. Pass by Kapitan Granuja Comics and Games and find all your favorite geeky items there. Look for them at Facebook or Instagram, or call them at 787-659-7003. A store blessed by Nicole Bolas.